Okay, so in today's session, we're going to be talking about financial empowerment. What's the figure? What's the number?
My name is Ed JC Smith. I got a second chance at life, and I'm here to help you live life on your terms.
Welcome to another episode of Coaching Business Secrets. We have Shaa Wasmund in the house. MBA. What is it? Give her a hand, ladies and gentlemen. It's an MBA? MBE?
MBE.
I don't know.
MBA. An MBA is what you get when you do a Master of Business Administration at university. An MBE is what you get given by the Queen for your awards to entrepreneurship. Yes, thank you very much.
Difference. I love it. Okay, so in today's session, we're going to be talking about financial empowerment. What's the figure? What's the number? Thank you, Shaa, for being here. I appreciate you. It's been awesome getting to know you deeper, and I know you inside and out now after spending 9, 10, however long we've been on Clubhouse. It seems like coming up to 4 months now. So that's been hard.
Yeah. And a lot of hours.
A lot of hours. You've written some amazing books. I have read one of them. I've got the other one on my list at the moment, so I'm excited about going through that. I think it's an incredible book. But we're here to talk about empowerment decisions and empowerment journey and all of that jazz. If you could give a quick, bio so that people understand how amazing you are, because I already know that.
Oh, thank you. I'm just going to turn my notifications off because that would help, wouldn't it? So thank you for that. Your amazing bio. Yeah, it's been such a pleasure to get to know you through Clubhouse, because I think we skirted around similar circles but didn't really know each other before Clubhouse. It's just, for me, it's been absolutely one of the highlights of the time that I've spent on there. So for anybody who is listening, watching, and who doesn't know me, which I'm going to assume is almost all of you, my name's Shaa. I am a award-winning entrepreneur, and yes, I actually do have an MBE from the Queen, and that is an award that she gives out to a handful of people each year for their services to things like business and entrepreneurship, which is what I got mine for, and I'm very proud of that. And I'm particularly proud of that because just to give you a little bit of context to my journey and my story, and why this conversation around financial empowerment is so important. I grew up with a single mum. We lived in a hostel for homeless families for a couple of years. I spent most of my childhood growing up on a council estate. And I'm proud of all of that because it's made me who I am. But I certainly know that I didn't have any financial security or any financial empowerment when I was young. I had no role models around me to look up to when it came to business or becoming financially secure, financially empowered. So these are important conversations for me. They've pretty much been my driver my whole entire career, because I knew very early on that if I wanted to change things in my life, then I had to be radically responsible for making that change. I had to be the one who was radically responsible for shifting my financial future, because if I wasn't, then I was going to fit the box that other people had put out for me. And I think this is a challenge for a lot of people, that so often society sets out your stall for you based on where you're born, what kind of family you're born into, how much education you have, whether they have money or they don't have money, your gender, the color of your skin. And so society sets out this stall for you before you've even had a chance to set out your own stall. And truthfully, I kind of thought, I've always kind of been a bit radical, and I thought, fuck that shit. Like, there has to be a different way. Like, we don't have to accept what society or genetics or gender or race has dictated that we're going to be judged by society. Like, for a start, society is typically wrong. And secondly, this is my life, and I'm going to determine what I do with my life. And so this has, been a really big part of every business that I've run. I'm currently on my 5th 7-figure business. And I say that not to brag. I say it for the context of what I've just shared with people, that, I come from nothing, and I'm on my 5th 7-figure business. And that doesn't just come from having a particular skill set. It most certainly comes from having a mindset that this is possible for me, and therefore I make it possible. Now, I'm not saying that that's easy. I'm not saying that you flick a switch or you buy a secret pill, because you don't. That's all bullshit too. But it has to start from within. Financial empowerment, empowered decisions, they all start from within.
I like that. So I've heard you say before, correct me if I'm wrong, I've heard you say in some context that you don't classify yourself as a coach, or you don't like the word coaching, because like from my perspective, I think you're an incredible coach. And tell me more about that, because that was interesting.
So it's not that I don't like the word coach, and it is. So I have done every coaching qualification that you can think of. So I'm ICF qualified. I have done my train the trainer NLP, not only am I a master NLP trainer, but I'm a train the trainer. I've done everything. I've done all of the qualifications. But what I've really learned about myself over the years and where I work best is that it's funny, because both you and another really good friend of mine, Ruth Kudzi, who is very well known in the coaching circles, both say, I don't get it, you're such a great coach, Shaa, like you're such a natural coach. And Ruth has been in my mastermind and worked with me one-to-one over the last 3 years, and she'll say, you absolutely do coach, but that you lead with mentoring. And so for me, it's not that I don't want to be labeled as a coach, or it's not that I don't coach, it's just that I lead with mentoring. And the reason that or teaching, and the reason that I see a shift in that is because truthfully, I think that for almost all of us, we need a combination of teaching, coaching, mentoring. They're 3 different things. Sometimes you have some people who can do all 3. They can be that one person who can give you all 3 of those. More often than not, somebody can give you 1 or 2 of those things. And so just to unpack how I see that, it's that a mentor, in my opinion, has to have had actual real life experience to be able to bring to bear to the conversations that you as a client have with them. Mm-hmm. So a coach doesn't, right? A really good coach doesn't necessarily have to have walked in your shoes before you to be able to help and support you. And a really good teacher really needs to know about their subject, not the whole package, not the whole big picture. They need to know about their subject. So if they're teaching you how to create an online course, for example, they need to know a lot about that, but they don't necessarily need to know about the other elements of your business or the rest of your business model. So for me, I always lead with mentoring, because my goal with anybody that I work with, and I don't really mean one-to-one because I hardly do any one-to-one work, but in my programs, is I want to fast track the process for people. So I want to say, listen, I've made these mistakes and I've had these wins, and based on all of my real life experience, we can fast track your results so that you don't have to make the mistakes that I did, and you don't have to, take the detours that I did. You don't have to take the dead end roads that I did, because I can say to you, okay, that's a dead end road. That's a detour. That is a straight line with no traffic lights. You can put your foot down and you're going to get to your destination super quick. So for me, that's more mentoring. Now, along that path of helping those people get to their destination faster, they are going to need coaching as well. So I'm not saying they don't need coaching, but I always lead with mentoring, because I think that my real skill set is the fact that I have done this multiple times over multiple businesses in multiple different industries. So this isn't my first rodeo. I'm not a one-trick pony. I don't just have experience in how to create an online business. Like, I have experience how to create multiple different businesses across all kinds of different sectors. So when somebody comes to me with a challenge, I have a broad spectrum of experience to be able to say, do you know what? I've seen this before. This is what I think it might be. Let's talk this through and see if we can find a quicker way for you to get to where you want to be.
Makes total sense. And I think the differentiation isn't clear for a lot of people today. They don't understand the difference between it's the difference also, like a consultancy conversation, a coaching conversation. So that makes total sense. Leading with mentorship, coaching those conversations online. Would it be fair to say then it's you're looking for someone that is specific, because they know that they've got their emotional stuff together? Let's go. Let's take this up a notch.
They are literally the people who, and it's not necessarily about where their income level is at. It's where their mindset is at. They are at their place where they're frustrated. They've hit a plateau. They know they should be doing more than, and they really believe, right? They really believe that they can do this, but they still might be standing in their own way. But they're like, okay, I'm prepared to take a bet on myself, and I want to go. Like, I don't want to go slow. I want to go fast and I want to go now.
It's less sensitivity, more action.
I don't know if it's less sensitivity, because I think that if we don't have sensitivity to understand individuals' circumstances and why they might have stood in their own way previously, then you're really not of much help, because you have to be able to have empathy for somebody's situation to be able, and this is the coaching part, to be able to coach them through what is keeping them stuck where they're at, because they're coming to you because they're stuck. If they weren't stuck, they'd be flying. They're coming to me because they want to fly, right? Mm-hmm. And really, this sounds really corny, but what they want is they literally want that wind under their wings, right? They want somebody to help them lift off. But I think you still have to have empathy. I definitely wouldn't say that it's. I would definitely, it is more action, but it's action with sensitivity. But I think it's more tough love. I think it's more tough love. So, you know, if I see somebody standing in their own way, I'm going to call them out on it, because if you don't face up to that, you won't get over it.
No, agreed. When I said to give you I agree with your answer, and to give context. When I said that, I didn't give the context. Agreed. I was thinking more from the perspective of the actual client needs to be less sensitive to and I see this, and it'd be interesting to see your view on this. I think the world has got a bit oversensitive, and they are a little bit too easily triggered, where if you go back to, if you spend time with anyone that's had a traditional business, right, today online business is just, when people say, I find it very difficult, when people say it's really hard work, I'm sitting there going, I don't want to be that person that is perceived as it's easy. Press a button and it's going to happen.
Let's talk reality. I started cleaning hospital toilets when I was 13, right? And I fried burgers in McDonald's as a vegetarian at 18. So this online business, this is a walk in the park, people. And I think that I think it would do everybody a really good service for people to be less like a snowflake.
And it's having,
and more robust.
It's having
and that's being more robust doesn't mean that people don't have feelings. It doesn't mean that we can't be sensitive. It means, come on, like, do you want to crack on and get this done, or should we just sit around talking about all the reasons why it's not getting done? I don't really work well sitting around talking about all the reasons why it's not getting done. I work really well with unpacking why it's not getting done, accepting those, acknowledging those, addressing those, and then getting it done.
I found over the period of sitting on Clubhouse, it's massively trained. Where there's always a new level, and I'm always surprised at those new levels. I would say I was a patient person. I believe I have high levels of patience, and that app took my patience to a different level, because I totally appreciate other people's viewpoints, and I do think that's important to sit in, and that app allows us to have both sides of that conversation. And I've listened to people saying it's difficult, but again, I always go back into it's well, entry point's the easiest it's ever been. When you do have someone that has a clear path, all you need to do is stick to that path and follow that path, and you're going to get where you want to get. So tell us a little bit about, like, your specific path within empowerment. What's the process?
So for me, it's really focusing on how does somebody become truly financially empowered, and I think there is a magic number, and it's not just I think this is based on, gosh, years and years and years of research across the world that very, very clearly indicates there is actually a magic number at which the vast majority of people become truly financially empowered, and that is when they take home 6 figures. Now, you can say all kinds of caveats around that. If you want to buy a Ferrari and you want to buy a helicopter, then it might be a different number. But if we're talking about the average family unit, and a family unit can just be a couple, it could be a single dad with 2 kids, it could be a couple with 1 kid, but if you take the average family unit, whatever that means to you, who's living in London, You know, Boston, any Western city, the average living costs are around $5,000, £5,000. So that means whether it's your mortgage, it's your rent, it's your car payments, it's your food, it's all of the stuff that it costs to actually just exist. It's around $5,000, £5,000. So when you are able to run a business that allows you to start taking home 10K months, not making, because you could be making six figures in a business and you could be taking home less than you would if you worked in McDonald's. And that is like, no, we don't want that on my watch. That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about turning over 6 or 7 figures just to take home less than you did when you had a job. We're talking about income first. When you take home 10K every single month, something magic actually happens. And what that is that you have a surplus of cash. So if your overheads are 5K and you're bringing in 10K, it doesn't take rocket science to figure out you've got a surplus of 5K every month. Now that surplus, if you do that over multiple years, is life-changing. It's about creating generational wealth. It's not just about changing your immediate future. It's like, if we want to level the playing field, and that's my goal, how do we level the playing field and create real social mobility? So no matter where you were born, no matter your race, no matter your gender, we all have the same chance. The truth is, we need more people who don't fit the average stereotypical white middle-class man being born at the front of the line. And the only way we do that is by creating generational wealth, because historically in the UK, wealth has been passed down through generations. So you would inherit the wealth from your grandparents. Your grandparents would pay for your school fees. And so it would go on generation upon generation. And when it came time to buying your first flat or your first home, guess what? You either inherited it or you had the deposit from your inheritance. Now, I don't know about you or anybody else listening to this, but that was not my story. Like, I grew up on a council estate. There was no inheritance inside. And I'm fine with that, because I don't need someone to save me. I can save myself. But what I do want to do is change what that landscape looks like for my future generations, not just for my son, but for his kids. And the only way we can do that is by creating generational wealth. So for me, if you have a surplus of cash every month, you have choices. What do you do with it? Sure, you can buy a new car. You can go on better holidays. Of course, you can do all of those things. And some of those things are really important too, because you want to actually appreciate, you want to feel the value in what you're doing. But equally, you can put that money aside to invest in property. You could put that money aside, if you so wish, to invest in crypto. You could put the money aside to put into your pension, into ISAs, to all kinds of things that are creating assets, and those assets in turn generate wealth. So my story, Ed, is that, you know, I've told you how I grew up, and my reality is that I have been taking home six figures since I was 21. And at 21, I was not a professional footballer. I was not a singer. I was not a model. I didn't have any kind of skill set that would
You
generate.
weren't a model. Come on, Shaa. Hold on.
I'm only 5'4",
everything was
mate.
going well there for a moment, and then you just dropped in a lie. I don't believe that for one moment. Go on. Sorry.
But I didn't have a skill set, right? At 21, I did not have a skill set that would warrant six figures, but I had a mindset. I had the mindset from a very young age that this is who I am and this is what I'm worth. And so what that's meant to me now, many, many years later, is that if I chose to not work anymore, I don't have to work anymore. Like, I'm not saying that if I chose not to work anymore, I could buy a Ferrari and a helicopter and you know, travel the world relentlessly on first class. I couldn't afford to do that. But I tell you what I could afford to do. I could afford to still live in a beautiful multi-million-pound house on the beach in Whitstable and holiday to Barbados 2-3 times a year, carry on putting my kid through a great school and put him through university without working, because I have invested my surplus into many different things since I was 21. Some of them paid off, some of them didn't. But that surplus of cash has meant that I've been able to build generational wealth. And that's what I want for everybody. And it is never, ever too late to start.
It's never too late.
No.
So on that point of never being too late, time being the essence, obviously with the Chinese proverb, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is when now. Let's go with, talk to us about, because I know you're launching your new signature program. So I'm really excited for you and really excited to support that, because I think they are going to be in safe hands. And I really believe in what you do. I believe in your straight line approach, and whether you think it or not, you're a great coach. But you are a mentor, of course. You know, like going back to, you know, you've walked the talk, and therefore that is the difference that makes the difference. And I'd also say this, Shaa, a mentor without the ability to coach as well can have its limitations too, because
I would agree with that.
And you are very relatable, and you're very real, and you are very empathetic and caring. So that being said, where can people join? What do they need to do?
So all you need to do is, I've got a live workshop on Thursday, the 8th of April at 8 p.m. You just go to shaa.com/now to 10K. So that's NOWTO and then numerical 10 and then the letter K. shaa.com/now to 10K. And that will get you signed up to the workshop. So we're going to do a deep dive on Wednesday evening. We're going to do a deep dive on Thursday evening. It's a bank holiday, so I've completely lost what the day is. So we're going to do a deep dive on Thursday evening at 8 p.m. live, and I'm going to cover 3 core areas I believe that it takes for you to go from wherever you are now to taking home 10K months. And again, I just want to preface this with, this is not a quick fix solution. I'm not selling you a magic pill. What I want to teach you, what I want to coach you and share with you is, how do you build both yourself and a business model that is going to allow you to do that? And I truly believe it's possible for everybody. 3 core areas are: number 1, your mindset. And I don't think we talk about this enough, because without the right mindset, all the rest of it is going to fall over. So like I said, I've been taking home 6 figures since I was 21 because of my mindset, not my skill set. So we're going to have some amazing people coming in and talking to us about mindset. I'm going to be unpacking my mindset and sharing with people the things that I do when I want to up level myself. But also we've got Dame Kelly Holmes, who's going to be coming in. And for those of you who don't know, you should go Google her story, because it's like phenomenal. She was, plagued with injuries every time she was in, participating in the Olympics, until her very final one, when, let's face it, she was actually past the age that most athletes actually retire. She'd never won gold. She took home double gold because of her mindset. Her mindset shifted to say, I'm not here to take second place. And I think really laying down the foundations of that really important mindset piece. And then we're going to talk about your business model, because I'm going to tell you straight, 9 out of 10 times when I work with somebody, whether it's one-to-one or in a group, their business model is not working. So what do I mean by that? What I see a lot of people doing is they want to get to those 10K months and they think, right, I see Ed doing that, I'm going to go do that. And then they say, oh, hold up, I see Shaa doing that, I'm going to go do that. And you flip and you flop, because nobody's taken the time to sit with you and say, hold up a second, you've actually got all the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle right here in front of you. There's no missing piece. We just have to learn how to put them together properly.
No flipping and flopping.
No flipping and flopping, right? It's true. But that's what we see people doing all the time. They go halfway down a road and they go, oh, hold on, I'm not a gajillionaire. This isn't working. Ed and Shaa, they're making more money than me. We've been doing this for longer than you, but it's not working as fast as I wanted it to. So I'm going to give up and I'm going to go try something else. Now, sometimes you're actually on a dead end road, and we need to understand that. And then you should give up. But more often than not, it's nobody stopped to help you figure out what is the right business model for you. Not a cookie cutter approach, not a do it my way, but your way. What is the right business model for you? And as you grow and as your business grows, what served you to start with may no longer be serving you. I can't tell you how important I think it is to do an audit of your business model. So we're going to talk about that. And then the final thing is we're going to talk about making bank. Okay, cool. I've got my head straight. I've got my business model right. But how do I take that money home? What does that actually look like? So we're going to be like, it's a straight line approach. You're absolutely right. Like, I'm here to help people actually get results. I can't do the work for them, but I can definitely support them all the way on the journey.
Sounds awesome. So that's www.shaa.com/now TO 200K 100K.com. Yeah.
10K, not 100. But you know what?
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Maybe that'll be next year's one.
But now, the link will be below. I'm just
Shaa.com/now to 10K.
Cool.
10K as in 10K months, not 10K in annual revenue. Just
Makes
so we're
sense.
clear.
Right. And if you're listening to this after that date, I want you to still go over to that link, because that link will have something special for them.
Oh, 100%. So once we have closed all the live workshops, we're going to have replays up for everybody. So don't you worry.
Cool.
So you go to that link and you'll get a replay.
Wicked. That sounds awesome. Right. That being said, Shaa, we are on our peak listen time, which is 26.5 minutes to be precise. Tell me something, just some quick fire, just 3 questions. The best thing you've learned?
To ask for help.
Nice. Number 2, something that's misunderstood about you.
Oh, something that's misunderstood about me. I'm a posh middle-class white girl.
Number 3, meaning of life.
To leave it a better place than you found it.
Lovely. So one more call to action. You say it.
Shaa.com/now TO 10K. Shaa.com/now to 10K.
Thank you, Shaa. I appreciate you. I love you. And I'm going to be on that workshop too. So I'm excited to watch it. Thank you, guys.
If you want further help in this area, we are opening up a couple of strategic calls with my team. It's not a sales call. All right, it's purely a one-to-one consultancy session. All right, it's a true value to our business at $500. That is what I charge our team out at a consultancy level. However, it's completely for free. All right, there's nothing for you to buy. It's a consultancy session. All right, at the end of that session, if it makes sense for you, and if it makes sense for us, and if we believe that you have a good offer, all right, we'll make you an offer and we'll walk you through what potentially would entail becoming a client of ours. However, it's not a sales call and there's nothing to buy, okay? At the end of that, you will walk away with a clear plan, a clear structure of exactly how to do this, okay? And so we've had a great testimonials off the back of people booking calls. Someone like Gary who was stuck in his membership and it was like $97 a month. I hate low front-end memberships. They don't work. It's very difficult to scale your business, especially when you're starting, okay? And so we were able to help Gary plan out his signature program, plan out his increased prices, that he was able to take it up to a 5K offer, what he was needing to do to provide that. And as a direct result of that, was able to translate that into 3 sales off the back of that call within a short period of time. So that call in essence made him 15K, and that was a free call. So click the link below and you can book a strategy session with our team and they'll take you through that. There is an application process so that we are working with people that are serious. If you're not serious, please don't bother. All right, I appreciate you. Just go out, hang out with some more free information online. But if you are serious and you want help right now, then click the link, go through the application process, make sure you fill that out effectively. If for whatever reason we don't believe that you're going to be serious or you're not going to turn up, then we will cancel that call because it's only on a first come basis. That being said, if you want a free strategy session of value, $500 to get you clear right now, then click the link and I'll see you there. All right, that's the end of today's session. Thanks for watching. If you like these sorts of videos, then subscribe to the channel and I look forward to seeing you again soon.